Hey, Cajun Cardboard coming at you today from the great state of Louisiana. I'm glad you could join me. I wanted to start the video by saying I'm not a dirty Cajun. I take showers, I do change clothes, but you may see me in the same shirt. It's because I'm filming 3 videos in one day and then spacing them out 3 days apart. So I didn't want you to think that all people from Louisiana didn't take showers and ran around dirty. Anyway, so let's get started. Today's another one of those kind of off the cuff, just general ruminations about a cool topic that I really like, and it's focusing on NBA Hall of Fame probability of active players. Who's in, who's out. I know a lot of you guys care about the PSA registry. If you don't, go check it out. It's a really cool feature that PSA has. I think it's one of the main reasons that they're the industry leader for grading, one of the many reasons. But if you kind of look at the big screen here, you'll see I've got Dwight Howard, Paul George, Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, and we're going to talk about a few other guys as well. Some are definitely in, some are maybe in, some are probably not in. Just kind of wanted to bounce around some ideas, look at some stats, and really just kind of get your thoughts here. So let's pull up basketballreference.com. This is the Bible, man. If y'all love basketball statistics, basketball history, you've got to be familiar with basketballreference.com. You can do anything you want. It actually helps you as a collector educate yourself on who's done what and who's doing what and who's going to get into the Hall of Fame, which is what we're going to talk about today. So, surprise, surprise, active players are in bold, and they think LeBron James is going to make the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, they are correct. There's 1,000%. Chris Paul, Durant, 100%. James Harden, Curry, it's funny, Curry's not 100%, but that's about as close as you can get. I don't know how they do their statistical probabilities, but I'm pretty sure Curry is going to make it into the Hall of Fame. What do you think? If we keep scrolling down the list, like them or not, Harden and Westbrook are absolutely in. 2 of the best players of their generation, polarizing players. Let's stop it here, okay? So player number 1 is Dwight Howard. They have him as a 99.7% chance to get in. I just want to show you guys why. If we go look at his basketball reference page, he's 36 years old. You'll see he's got 8 All-Stars. He's led the league in rebounding 5 times, led the league in blocks twice. He's won a title as a role player, contributing role player. Here's the deal. He's got 3 Defensive Player of the Year. He's got 8 times All-NBA. That is very different than being an All-Star. All-NBA means you're one of the 3 best at your position. Pretty much that season, he's done it 8 times. In many of those seasons, he was the best at his position, albeit a few down years at his position during his era. He was 5 times all defensive. That's not normal. That puts him in rare company. If you look at his career stats, he's 16-12. And that's including some of these shitty later years in his career where he's not doing very much and not getting the minutes to put up numbers. So he's led the league in rebounds. He's led the league in blocks. He's been a big time scorer. If you scroll down to his overall stats down here, you can even see. Well, maybe I can't. I thought I could see. My page is too big. Here, let's shrink this thing. There you go. So you can see he scored 20 points 1, 2, 3, 4 times in his career and gotten real close a couple of other times. So Dwight Howard's the real deal. He has a 99.7% chance he's in. I know some of you guys may not realize how good he was. Maybe you're younger guys, but he was the best at his position for about a decade. So he's in. The next controversial player, obviously Anthony Davis and Carmelo are in. Anthony Davis, I say obviously. I'm not sure it's so obvious. We're not going to look at him. He's a polarizing figure. I don't think he's a terrible investment right now, to be honest with you. If you think he can get healthy and resume his career, I just worry he's a little bit soft. I worry he doesn't really care enough. I'm not touching Anthony Davis, but I want to keep going down the list. They think Lillard has a 90% chance to get in. Here we go. This is the player that I kind of want to focus on. They have Kyle Lowry as an 87, almost 87% chance to get in. If we look at his credentials, 6-time All-Star. Okay, a lot of people do that are not in the Hall of Fame. He made 1 All-NBA team in his entire career. He's 35, almost 36, so he's got, maybe 2 years left, maybe 3, if he takes care of himself. He's won 1 title as the second best, maybe third best, probably second best player on his team behind Kawhi, who pissed in a shot. And then if you look at his career numbers, he's playing about at his career averages, which is really impressive at age 35, almost 36. But he's a 15, 4.5, 6 guy who shoots terrible from the field. I just don't get it. I don't understand why he's an 87%. I'd be surprised if he gets in. I know he's a good defensive player, but he's never made an all-defensive team. So I don't see that happening. If you compare his stats to Dwight Howard's and his credentials to Dwight Howard's, it's not even a comparison. Let's go back to the list. I don't think Lowry gets in. Howard, I think y'all need to go check out his rookie cards. I'm not giving investment advice. I'm simply saying there will be a bump. There will be a Hall of Fame bump. And I know there's been tons of videos on this. It doesn't come when they get announced. It comes years before they get announced. Like right now, when people start to think forward and think who's going to get in, now would be an okay time to invest in Dwight Howard. I will be the first one to tell you, I do not own, I own one Dwight Howard card because it's part of the 2012 Prism set. I own him as though he were a common in the set. I do not have Howard. I have not invested in Howard. I'm not hyping Howard cards. I'm simply saying if you're looking for the next person to make it into the Hall of Fame, he's on the list and he's getting in, like it or not. Let's keep going down the list. They have Kyrie in already. Man, that surprises me. They have him at 84%. I don't want to talk about him. He's a weirdo. Kawhi Leonard, we know, is in. One of the best players of the last decade. He's got 2 titles, 2 NBA Finals MVPs. Arguably top 10 perimeter defender of all time, probably top 5 when you start talking about him. You know, Peyton, Jordan, Pippen. There's a good list of tremendous perimeter defenders, but Kawhi Leonard belongs on that list by anybody's standards, especially during his prime. So then we get to the next controversial guy. They've got a 73.4% chance for Kevin Love to get in. And I don't know. Let's look at his stats together. So here I am on basketballreference.com. You can see he's made 5 All-Star teams. He was a rebounding leader and led the league in rebounding. He won a title with LeBron that we can all remember. He's been All-NBA twice. Nobody cares about most improved player. And he was an all-rookie. His career numbers are pretty nasty, though, man. If you look at his numbers, he was 18 and 11 for his career, and that's including a couple of down years. As you can see, he's playing at a 14.5, 7.5 clip right now. Average field goal percentage, because he's starting to take a lot of threes. It's dragging that down. Great free throw shooter, tremendous free throw shooter. Really good PER and win shares. If you don't know what those are, go check them out. If we look at his numbers here, though, people forget in his prime when he was getting his ass kicked in Minnesota, it was through no fault of his own. You're looking at 20-plus points a game. I mean, he had a year here where he was 20 and 15. Then he had a 26 and 13 with almost a block a game. I don't know whose shots he was blocking because you can't slide a credit card under him when he jumps. Then he had another 26 and 13 year. He had some injury issues, and I think that's going to ultimately affect his ability to make it. But as you can see, 5 All-Star teams. I mean, that's less than Kyle Lowry, and but he does have 2 All-NBAs. So I don't know. He's a guy worth looking at. His cards are dirt cheap. If you wanted to throw him in your collection and go buy a really high-end Kevin Love RPA or something like that, it's probably something worth looking at. I know we're not talking too much about cards. I'll let you guys do that research. The video would be too long. I just wanted to go through 5 guys that are going to probably get in that you guys might not have thought would. Kevin Love's one of them. Moving down the list, the next one, it jumps out at you. Obviously, you see Giannis up there. The alphabet's in. The Greek freak's in. There's no doubt about that, even if he doesn't play another game. Then you've got John Rondo, okay? So they got a 60% chance for Rondo to get in. And this is truly going to be based on, a long career. So Rondo is 35, almost 36. Born in the great city of Louisville, Kentucky, which is where I was born. But that's a side note. So Rondo, let's look at his credentials first. Led the league in assists 3 times. Won 2 NBA titles. One of them, he was a very relevant piece with KG and Pierce and those guys and Ray Allen. One time he was a throw-in for the Lakers, just like Dwight Howard was. Led the league in steals, 3-time assist leader, made 4 All-Star teams. Made 1 All-NBA team back in his heyday. He's got 4 All-Defensive teams, which really does matter. He's known as a tremendous perimeter defender. He can't guard 3s and 4s like some of these versatile guys like Kawhi and Pippen and all those guys could. But he was a lockdown, nasty defensive player at the point guard position who would make people miserable during his prime. It's hard to remember that. We have this recency bias and this, we see these guys and their knees don't bend as well. They got no lift. Their horizontal athleticism starts to deteriorate. But in his prime, Rondo was a very special player and had a lot of Ben Simmons-like qualities where he wouldn't take open shots, even though they were like 12, 14 footers. And so imagine how many assists he would have if people had to actually guard him, which would open up passing lanes. But anyway, Rondo's career is 10, 5, and 8. It's very Draymond Green sounding. He's a career 45% shooter. Good Lord, he's shooting 32% from the field this year. Congratulations, Cleveland. You just picked him up. His PER is good, his win shares are good. But he did have some years during his prime where without scoring the ball, he affected the game like very few people could. Let's get back to our list. After Rondo, we've got Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin has a better than average chance to get in. People have totally forgotten about him. It's almost like he doesn't exist. He's just a big stiff that plays for the Nets that can't dunk the ball anymore, whereas during his prime and during the heyday of his career, people think all he could do is dunk. That is not entirely true. Blake Griffin had some pretty nasty seasons in the NBA. He made 6 All-Star teams. He's got 5 All-NBA. That's a lot, guys. That's a lot. That means you're one of the 3 best at your position pretty much in the world for 5 seasons. That's quite an accomplishment. He was the Rookie of the Year after sitting out his first year with that knee injury, and obviously made an all-rookie team. But look at his numbers compared to Kevin Love's, and let me know what you think. The only thing he doesn't have is the title. He doesn't have the title that Kevin Love had. And Blake Griffin's only 32. He seems like he's 42. He's really just not moving well. And maybe it's from landing after jumping 9 feet in the air for like a decade. His knees aren't doing real well right now. But he looks miserable playing. He looks like I feel when I try to play basketball at age 47. But a career 20-8 guy, pretty good field goal percentage. He did start to step out, so his percentage, and you can see he's shooting a shitty 37% this year. He should never take a 3 again as long as he lives. And you can kind of see his percentages are going down, and everybody's numbers go down late in their career. And so that's what you got to kind of look past. But I think Blake Griffin, he's been in the league for 11 years, so if you're going back to get his rookie cards, he was kind of in that weird Topps Chrome to Panini transition. You can pick up some really cool cards of his, not very expensive. If you look at his career stats, I mean, he was 20 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost 10, almost 11 times in his career. Those are big numbers. But if you look at the screen, he never led the league in anything in any year, which was odd. But he was always a really, really good player and even an elite player. When he started to step out to 12 to 15 feet, he became elite. So they have Blake Griffin getting in. I want to know what you guys think about these guys. Let's talk about Dwight Howard. I want to hear comments. Is Dwight Howard in? Is Kyle Lowry in? Is Kevin Love in? Is Rondo in? Is Blake Griffin in? I want to know in the comments what you guys think. I'm going to say in order, Howard gets in. I didn't think Lowry and Love, I thought Love would be borderline. I thought Lowry had no chance to get in personally, but he's got a very high percentage based on this website. Rondo, I thought might get in later in his life. And then Blake Griffin, I think also has a chance to get in. I'll be honest with you. I know he's 55% on here, so they think he's more likely than not. Klay Thompson still has work to do on here. Like, if you ask me, I'd probably say Klay Thompson ahead of Blake Griffin. They disagree. Lamarcus Aldridge has a better than average. I think he's got no chance. Joe Johnson, I think he has no chance. Jimmy Butler, I think people can look at Jimmy Butler. I think there's maybe more to Jimmy Butler than people realize historically. 5 times All-Defensive, 5 times All-Star, 4 times All-NBA, and he's still got some legs on his career. Now, he's 32, but he's playing much differently at age 32 than Blake Griffin. Jimmy Butler's a pain in the ass, and I was watching him last night, and that dude can still play and still matter. And we saw what he did that one year where he knocked my Bucks out. Anyway, thanks guys for listening. Hope this helps. I'm not really here to give investment advice, but I just thought this was 5 players that were kind of teetering on the brink of Hall of Fame induction or not. Not really sure. I'd love to hear your comments below. If there's anybody else that I've left out, we could have gone through the whole list, but if there's anybody else that's out there that's kind of just totally overlooked in the hobby that's actually going to end up being in the NBA Hall of Fame, let me know who they are. Happy collecting. I hope you guys are having a great 2022. By the time you see this, we'll be at least a week into it. And peace.